Hey guys, welcome to episode number 206. Today is Wednesday, so it's DIY Wednesday. And this tank looks pretty good from here, but it has been empty for some time, as you guys know. And now that it's fully dry, I wanted to have a closer look and inspect all of the damage, all of the design flaws that went into this tank and that resulted from keeping turtles in this tank, to give you guys a better sense for what I would do next time and what you guys should do when considering a build like this. And this is actually going to be the last video before I tear this down. I have decided to tear this background out. As you can see, I have the razor blade, I've got the silicone tool, I've got a putty knife and a screwdriver, and those are going to be my tools of choice to completely remove this 3D background. It's been through a lot. It's about 3 years old. It does have 4 to 5 coats of Drylock on it, but as you know, when the turtles got to full size or close to full size, they just started doing an amount of damage that was kind of unavoidable and something that is very difficult to repair, especially while the tank is full. So as you can see here, we do have the styrofoam, the raw styrofoam, which is exposed. And if you go back and watch some of my previous videos, you'll see me repairing some of this sort of damage. And I just took a heat gun and heated that up so that it made the surface kind of harder again, instead of this foamy texture that's on the inside of the styrofoam. And then I went ahead and painted Drylock back over it. But as you can see, it's kind of unavoidable damage after a little piece has been bitten, or after the turtle's claws have been over some of these surfaces enough times. It creates little cracks, little chips, and the more curious your turtles are, the more likely they are to continue to bite at exposed surfaces like this. And they'll just continue to bite until it looks something like that. Or we've got some claw damage down there right in the center of the screen. Some more here right on the edge where they tended to claw quite a bit. As you can see here, there's a giant chunk taken out right there, and that was primarily from biting, probably due to boredom. And over here again, down there, all of that area is primarily claw damage from continued swimming. And up here again, part of that is repainted and part of it is raw, right in through there. Again, that's from biting damage, and there, biting damage again. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of that styrofoam, that free-floating styrofoam, that's kind of stuck to the edges here. It just kind of accumulated and collected. It's stuff that I removed on a pretty frequent basis, so obviously it was continuing to be degraded and destroyed over time, but it did last for a good 3 years. So I am pretty happy with that. Obviously, if the turtles had stayed small, like 2 to 3 inches or 3 to 4 inches or maybe 4 to 5 inches max, if I'd kept juveniles only in a system like this, they probably never would have caused that type of damage, and it probably would have lasted quite a bit longer. But alas, that's what happened. And so this is kind of the situation that I've run into here with this aquarium. And I have kind of come to the conclusion that just styrofoam painted with just Drylock isn't going to be a long-term solution if your turtles have long claws. if your turtles are very curious or if they get too large. So anyways guys, that's kind of the damage that was done. I want to walk through a few of the design flaws in terms of me when I was building this tank, just so you guys can kind of learn from my mistakes and keep that in mind if you do decide to build a tank similar to this. What we have here is the side of the tank, and as you can see, all of this is silicone, and that was basically just applied very thickly, very heavily across this entire surface area, because I knew that at the time this wall was up against a wall and it would never be seen. But here we are 3 years later, and whoa, sorry, the camera levels are way off. Here we are 3 years later, and this is where the tank ended up, and this is definitely something that's visible. So as I've said before, make sure that your 3D backgrounds look great from all three sides that might be viewable, and just leave the silicone to the bottom underneath the tank, and the back behind the tank. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. When building a ramp similar to this, I would actually recommend using a single piece of styrofoam and actually putting it at an angle so that you have at least 2 inches thick of solid styrofoam, and so that you don't have any seams like the one you see here. And that way you can still carve your beach area like I've done here. But the benefit is going to be that you have a less likely chance that you're going to have problems at this seam, whether it be turtles biting at the silicone, or whether it be repeated travel and traffic patterns causing damage on a surface like this. If it's one piece of styrofoam, you've got a better chance of that staying in one piece. And the only other thing that I would add is this method of construction, and you can go back and look at my other videos, is perfectly fine for fish and for small turtles. But as I've said repeatedly, it's not going to be the optimal setup for your larger turtles. So that kind of brings me to my phase 2 plan. After this tank is stripped down and after that background is removed, we will be using that tank, repurposing that tank. Not quite sure how, so if you have any ideas, definitely let me know. But after I move, I will be using the stock tank, and I will be using a similar method of construction in that stock tank, but I will be replacing the Drylock with a concrete cement mix. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm hoping it's going to be a lot more rugged than what this turned out to be, and something that's similar to stone in terms of its durability, especially with claw damage like the stuff you see down there, and hopefully immune to biting like the stuff you see there. So anyways guys, let me know if you have any ideas for this tank. I know I've asked you in the past if you've had any ideas and what I should do with this tank, but as I said, I'm committed to tearing this background out, so definitely look forward to that video. I'll be doing a time lapse of taking this background out, but until then, those are my thoughts on this tank now that it's completely dried out, and you can see everything in detail here. Definitely quite a bit of damage, and I'm looking forward to moving on to bigger and better things, and definitely repurposing this 125 down the line. But the first thing I need to do is tear that background out so I can start over. So anyways guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.